What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're gonna look at how it feels to die from every serial killer. Today we got Zodiac, Dahmer, and Boogeyman. Fuck.
Wanna know my holiday shopping secret? Dollar General.
I don't give a shit. This is not sponsored.
These blunts. Help squeeze me lip balm. Perfect for a stocking. Or, you know.
John Wayne Gacy. Imagine that you're a 15-year-old runaway, homeless and desperate for work. A man in his 30s pulls up in his car and introduces himself as John. He's friendly, well-dressed, and owns his own construction business. He offers you a job, $10 an hour, cash, no questions asked.
Please.
He says you can start tomorrow if you come to his house tonight to discuss details. You're desperate, exhausted, and hungry. You accept. His house is normal, suburban, and unremarkable. Inside, John offers you a beer and starts explaining the construction work. He's personable, jokes around, tells you about his community service work. Then he suggests showing you a magic trick. He pulls out a pair of handcuffs and asks if you can escape from them. It seems weird, but harmless. You let him put the handcuffs on your wrists behind your back.
Nah, bro.
The
What
click
the
of the
hell,
cuffs locking is the last normal sound you hear. John's entire demeanor changes in an instant. The friendly contractor vanishes.
Oh,
He
shit.
forces you to the floor and ties your ankles.
Oh,
You're screaming,
shit.
but there's no one to hear you.
Oh,
Too
shit.
far away, and he soundproofed the room. He places a rope around your neck, tied in a specific knot. Then he starts twisting you with a stick like a turnip.
Oh,
cutting your wrist.
shit.
You can't breathe, and this torture continues for hours.
Oh,
And finally, he
shit.
tightens it one last time and doesn't stop. Your last conscious thought is terror. Your body will be buried in the crawl space beneath his house, along with 28 others. John Wayne Gacy was arrested in December 1978 after the bodies of 4 late victims were found in the Des Plaines River.
He said,
Police discovered 29 bodies buried beneath his house.
what the
His
fuck?
trial began in 1980. He pleaded innocent by reason of insanity. However, the jury convicted him of all 33 and he received the penalty. After all his appeals were denied, he was executed by lethal injection on May 10th, 1994. The Zodiac. You're sitting on a bench at Lake Berryessa in Napa County, California, enjoying a peaceful picnic with your girlfriend on a warm afternoon in 1969. The sun is shining,
They're
the
making
water is
ugly
calm,
faces
you're
again.
completely relaxed. But suddenly, your girlfriend grabs your arm and points toward the trees. She tells you that she thinks she saw somebody watching you guys in the woods, and before you can even react, a 6-foot-tall, 250-pound psycho approaches you out of nowhere. He's wearing nothing but dark clothes, sunglasses, and a straight-up executioner hoodie with a Zodiac sign at the bottom of it. The hooded man draws and slowly approaches you. Instinctively, you position yourself between him and your girlfriend. But to your absolute surprise, he starts to reason with you. He says that he's an escaped convict from Montana, and that all he needs is your car and money to get to Mexico. Even though you don't really have a choice, you tell him you'll cooperate. He orders both of you to lie face down on the ground. Then he tells your girlfriend to tie you up first. Afterward, he then ties her up in the same way. Without as much as even a second passing, the criminal tears her to shreds right in front of you with a 12-inch carving knife.
Oh, shit.
Horror as you try to break free from your restraints to save her, but your attempt to try to free yourself and charge at him quickly transforms into trying to escape him. Once you realize he turns his attention towards you, A plunges his weapon into your lower back, then your upper back,
shit.
then above your ribs, and he doesn't stop.
Oh,
Eventually, as you lie on the ground gasping for air, you watch as the man leaves a note on the side of your car. It'd have a Zodiac sign on it, with the dates of 3 recent and the words,
today's show 12/20/68, 7/4/69, September 27th 67, 69, 630 by knife.
by knife, written besides them. This is what happened to Brian Hartnell and his girlfriend Cecilia Ann Shepard. Luckily enough, Brian would survive the encounter, but his girlfriend sadly would pass. Brian would describe the criminal to police officers, but the Zodiac Killer would never be caught, and he'd go on to claim anywhere from 5 to 37 more victims,
Damn.
leaving behind cryptic notes like this. I like killing people because it is so much fun. It is more fun than wild game in the forest, because man is the most dangerous animal of all. The Butcher. Imagine you're a 4-year-old waiting at a rural train station in Rostov, Soviet Union in 1984. It is more fun than wild game in the forest, because man is the most dangerous animal of all. The butcher. Imagine you're a 4-year-old waiting at a rural train station in Rostov, Soviet Union in 1984. A middle-aged man in glasses approaches you, soft-spoken and grandfatherly. He says he knows a shortcut through the woods to the next town and offers to show you the way. You're running late, and he seems harmless, so you follow him. The forest path gets darker and colder, and you begin to feel uneasy when suddenly he grabs you from behind. His strength is pretty shocking for his mild appearance. Suddenly, throws you to the ground and starts slashing with a knife he pulled from his coat. The attack is nothing short of animalistic.
Oh, shit!
Just your hands, chest, mouth, skull, eyes, and face. You try to scream, but pain cuts your voice short, leaving only faint, rattling breaths. The attack lasts only minutes, but feels like hours. As you're losing consciousness from blood loss, you see him doing something unspeakable with the knife to your body. Your last sensation is the indescribable horror of understanding what's happening, but being too weak to stop it. Andrei Chikatilo.
He mutilates his victims inappropriately. Okay. So he rapes them.
At least 50 people between 1978 and 1990. He was eventually identified as the chief suspect of his heinous crimes and arrested. While in court, he was kept in a cage because of his erratic behavior. On one occasion, he pulled down his pants and in front of the court.
Goon!
He was executed in Moscow prison in 1994.
Even good people can do bad things if they're pushed.
I don't care. This is not sponsored.
Executed in a Moscow prison in 1994. Jeffrey Dahmer.
Oh, shit.
Now imagine you're at a bar in Milwaukee on a Saturday night when a blonde man in his late 20s approaches you. He's charming, good-looking, and well-spoken. He introduces himself as Jeff and offers to buy you a drink. He mentions he's a photographer and asks if you'd be interested in making some quick cash by posing for photos at his apartment.
What do you mean by that?
He offers you $50. You're broke, and he seems harmless enough, so you agree. His apartment is at 924 North 25th Street. It's neat and surprisingly clean.
Wait, what? Hold on.
Photographer and asks if you'd be interested in making some quick cash by posing for photos at his apartment.
What do you mean by that?
He offers you $50. You're broke, and he seems harmless enough, so you agree. His apartment is at 920.
I'm gonna look at his apartment, 924 North 25th Street. Fuck. Need to go to Google Maps. Hold on, a little detour from the video real quick. You're not looking at where I am. Wait, what did it say? 924 North? Oh yeah, 92 fucking, you know what? Oh shit. This is it right here. It's by utter. Is this a fucking? It could be a. I don't think that's a school. What do you guys think? I don't think that's a school.
His apartment is at 924 North 25th Street. It's neat and surprisingly clean. He offers you another drink, strong rum and coke. You take a few sips, and within minutes, you start feeling dizzy and disoriented. Your vision blurs. You try to stand up, but your legs won't work. The room ends. Jeff is still talking, but his voice sounds distant and distorted. You collapse onto the couch, then you wake up hours later. But something is wrong. You can't move your arms. You're handcuffed to something. Your head is pounding, and your mouth tastes like chemicals. Jeff is standing over you now, and his demeanor has completely changed. The friendly photographer is gone. What remains is cold, empty, and calculated. He doesn't yell or threaten. He just tells you calmly what's going to happen. He's going to strangle you until you pass out. And then his freaky ass is going to take advantage of your unconscious body.
Oh, hell no!
If you wake up, he'll do it again. But eventually, you'll stop waking up. Your last conscious thoughts are of panic and confusion.
Is this gonna
as
go
his
to
hands
next
separate from you, the world goes dark for the final time. In the same manner, Jeffrey Dahmer murdered 17 young men and boys between 1978 and 1991. He was arrested in July 1991 after one victim escaped. Harold Shipman. Imagine you're living your bonus years alone in Hyde, Greater Manchester. You've been feeling tired lately and short of breath. You call your family doctor, Dr. Harold Shipman, a respected general practitioner who's been practicing in the area for over 20 years. He makes house calls, which is rare these days, and he's always been so kind and attentive. He arrives at your home within an hour, black medical bag in hand. He takes your blood pressure, listens to your heart, and asks about your symptoms. He tells you it's likely just a circulation issue, nothing to worry about, but he'd like to give you an injection that will help. You trust him completely. He's your doctor. He prepares a syringe from his bag. You barely feel the needle go into your arm. Within seconds, a warm sensation spreads through your body. You feel relaxed, peaceful, almost euphoric. Dr. Shipman is asking you questions, but his voice is getting farther away. You're so tired suddenly. Your eyelids are impossibly heavy. You try to respond, but the words won't come. Your breathing slows, your vision narrows to a pinpoint of light, then disappears entirely. You take your armchair, peacefully, never knowing your trusted doctor just you with a lethal injection of diamorphine. Harold Shipman was convicted of 15 patients in 2000.
Let me see what diamorphine is. Is this diamorphine? Heroin. Motherfucker! Diacetylmorphine. It's heroin, and it's a drug, so... They're taking him drugs! What the fuck?
But investigators believe he killed between 215 and 250 people over his career. On January 13th, 2004, he hit himself in his cell at Wakefield Prison.
Nice. Oh yeah!
1970, a man named Albert Fish suffered horrific as a child at an orphanage, where he was regularly beaten and as a result, he exhibited troubling behaviors that would escalate over the years of his life. Fish would lure with promises of work, candy, or both. And in 1928, while pretending to be a wealthy man visiting a family's house to hire their son for work, Albert would convince the parents of named Grace to let him take her to a birthday party. He didn't spontaneously do this, however. He was only able to take them after building trust and warmth with the family. And as you could guess, there was no party.
What the
hell? He took her to an abandoned house, strangled her, dismembered her body, cooked her, and ate her.
Nice.
6 years later, Albert would send the family a letter saying this.
No.
On Sunday, June 3rd, 1928.
On Saturday, June the 3rd, 1928, I called you at 406 W 15th Street. Brought you pot cheese, strawberries, we had lunch. Grace sat in my lap and kissed me. I made up my mind to eat her. On the presence of taking her to a party, you said yes, she could go. I took her to an empty house in Winchester. I had already picked one out. When we got there, I saw her to a raccoon outside. She picked wildflowers. I went upstairs and strapped off my dick balls.
Called on you and brought you pot cheese with strawberries. We had lunch. Then Grace sat in my lap and gave me a kiss on my cheek. It was at this point that I made up my mind to eat her. The rest of the letter is disgusting, repulsive, and detailed. After reading it, Grace's traumatized parents were able to use it as evidence for officials to track and capture.
It took 6 years for a detective to capture Fish, who ultimately gave himself up through incriminating letters to the Budd family. One letter written to the Budds on November 11, 1934 bore the insignia of the New York Private Chauffeurs Benevolent Association, NYPCBA, prompting investigators to question some of its members, according to the Brooklyn Times Union. BTU, one member told
Albert, and after he was arrested, medical examinations
Grace Budd's killer described murder. That's when news was on a newspaper. We don't have that anymore. We have digital. We don't want to read out all that shit.
revealed that Albert had inserted over 29 needles into his pelvic region and area.
Albert Fish is a notorious American serial killer known for extreme acts of self-harm, including embedding pins and needles into his body. His x-rays, which shown dozens of needles lodged into his pelvic region, or as known as penis. Man penis, not...
Women don't have penises, we have vaginas.
Yep, are a well-known part of his history and the subject of merchandise.
X-rays showed them embedded deep in his body, many having been there for years. He had hammered them into himself as punishment and as a twisted form of gratification. Sadly, Grace's fate would be the same.
Fish once boasted that he had in every state and at one time stated his number of victims was about 100. However, it was not known whether he was referring to with Dr. Frederick Warham of Bellevue Hospital. Fish either
Over one.
confessed or was inflicted in the of over 400 children, and disfigurement of approximately 100 victims, and the murder of at least 15 children over a 20-year period. Bartley 2013 reader and mail.
To 400 other that Albert Fish did this to.
About 100 victims in total.
He was later on by the electric chair in 1936
Fish
at 65
guilty
years
gets
old.
electric
He wrote a
chair.
final statement, but the only person who was able to ever read it was his lawyer, and he refused to release it to the public.
A meeting with reporters after the execution, Fish lawyer James Dempsey revealed that he was in possession of his client's final statement. This amounted of several pages of handwritten notes that Fish apparently penned in the hours just prior to his death. When pressed by the assembled journalists to reveal the document's contents, Dempsey refused, stating, I will never show it to anyone. It was the most filthy string of obscenities that I have ever read.
Because he considered it the filthiest thing he had ever read in his life. Majority of people in real life are
Corey!
actually pretty normal, but nonetheless,
So,
bad apples still do exist. So always make sure that you're not out at night too late without your friends or family, and also, always let your loved ones know where you are at all times. Oh yeah, and most importantly, carry protection. Hit the gym, invest in some pepper spray, a taser, or if you're licensed and old enough, maybe some concealed carry. Anyways, have a happy day.
Corey! Why is everyone dancing? Rat dance? Whatever. Well, that that's the end.
Hey, dentist, are you able to practice the way you want? Choose the
This
team
is
you want?
not
Well, I'll tell you
sponsored.
exactly how to do it. How you can make the...
Alright. Well, that's the end of the video right there. I'm gonna make a thumbnail now.